live life with no regrets, and that's one of those things that I've always done. Like I regret nothing. I'm not ashamed of anything. So it's the biggest thing I can say to people, like, bust ass now and do all the work now, because when you're an old man like me, like you want to be able to look back fondly and feel good about everything and not wonder what if.
Brian Fury to me is somebody that's been a lifelong friend. If you ask him, he'll probably say I'm his best friend, clearly.
But Brian Fury, I don't even know where to begin with him, because he's been so many things to me in my personal life and in my wrestling life. Like, he's been a mentor, he's been a big brother, he's been a father at times. Like, he's been such a huge part of my life in the past 2.5 years that it's gonna be weird not seeing him at shows.
Brian's one of my best friends. It's meaningful to me. It's really meaningful to have someone who cares so much about not only the in-ring and out-of-ring stuff, but in my personal life and everything like that.
To me, Brian Fury is first my trainer every Tuesday, every Thursday. Most recently, within like the past 6-7 months, he's definitely become one of my best friends.
Colleague, a brother, the measuring stick in New England.
Brian Fury is a mentor, my trainer, one of my trainers, and a really good friend.
If for nothing else, I will always cherish my friendship with Brian Fury. One of the greatest workers in New England, but hands down.
Brian Fury to me is, if not one of, I'd say he is the greatest wrestler to come out of New England wrestling in the last 15 years.
Brian Fury, to me, he's one of my best friends. I've known him for, so many years, I can't even count at this point. We've been through ups and downs, and like every high, every low this business has to offer, Brian and I have done it together.
Probably one of the best in-ring performers I've ever encountered.
To me, Brian Fury's been my friend for over a decade. Brian's the first one that'll take my kids in the ring, put the crash pads in there so they can flip around and body slam my son and stuff like that. He's just a really good guy. In the ring, I take my job very seriously. Brian, every match comes in and straightens up my bow tie. So now after tonight, I'm wondering who's going to do that.
But Brian became this representation of a professional wrestler for me. For many, many years, I just followed Brian and I tried to do the things that he did and tried to emulate him and earn his respect. That made me a better person. That made me a better wrestler. It just made me more positive about life, and it didn't even directly connect together. I was just so obsessed with becoming like Brian and earning his respect and wanting to be his friend because he was just so cool. Like, everybody wanted to be like Brian.
He's just meant so much because he's one of those guys that he's always got your back. He's always gonna give you the realest truth. Nobody's gonna give you the truth like Fury's gonna give it to you.
Brian's been a huge mentor to me in wrestling. We don't always get along, we give each other a hard time, but I think that's helped me learn and get better. I definitely think that he's been the biggest influence on me professionally, maybe in my entire life.
Brian Fury is to me, he's been a role model. He's been like the constant guy in New England. Someone I can look up to and someone who I really respect.
He was always cordial and cool with me. Like I said, man, he's a brother, man.
If you find someone who says a bad thing about Brian Fury, I'd like to punch him in the face.
Someone that no matter what's going on in my life, he's the guy that I can turn to any point and he can pull me through it. Being as close of a friend as he is changed my life.
To be able to call him a friend of mine is really something special, and it makes me happy that I'll be able to do so for the rest of our lives.
want to say the way I feel about pro wrestling has changed any. Since I can remember. Honestly, since I can remember, it's all I've ever wanted to do and be. And then after first starting training and doing it for a while, I just loved it more and more and more. It's 100% consumed my entire life, and no matter what it is that I'm doing, even if it's away from wrestling, there's still something, thinking about a spot, or thinking about one of the students I talk to, or thinking about, you know, upcoming shows, or what I'm gonna do when I'm done with the school and whatever else. Like, it's my life. When I first started wrestling here in New England, it's definitely like a down period. There were only a couple different smaller places, and where I first started, a place called like All Star Wrestling Association up in Nashua, New Hampshire. It was a small, very small, like gimmicky type company. Everybody had ridiculous gimmicks, and it was it drew like 75 to 100 people. After a couple of years, I was able to start kind of wrestling other places, NECW, and kind of see a little bit more of Massachusetts and, you know, down in Fall River area. But to compare then to now is like, you know, apples and ice cream. I started in the Indies when it was still kind of like really big, slow type guys, and I would be almost like a special attraction type of thing on a show. Even though I was green and stuff, like I was a smaller, in shape guy that would do some faster stuff, or you know, I used to be a lot more mobile than I am now. But compared to a lot of the people that were main eventing, or a lot of people in the area on shows back then, it was it's night and day, you know, talent-wise too. So, but I think that's kind of what makes me a little bit different than a lot of people now, because I learned how to work that style before I was able to switch into the way wrestling is now. So that's why I kind of like bridge a gap in time for wrestlers and stuff. But back then it was just a lot smaller than it is now. That's the biggest thing. The quality of matches and production values weren't high for any of us. Definitely like the dark ages compared to, you know, the glitz and glamour of professional wrestling in the Indies in the Northeast now. Yeah. Hi, Big Show. Hi. So sad you didn't have your bow tie on last night.
I know, it's very casual.
How are you? I thought you were going to say you're homemade.
So,
I'm sorry, I'm like so.
My only thought is this.
look at that.
That's the original.
Oh, Michael Crockett! Yes! How are you?
Good.
I'm very excited.
You're excited?
I'm excited you're here.
You're happy?
Made my day.
Don't do that.
What's up, Chris?
What's up, man? How are you?
The man. The man. What a piece of shit! I never wore a mesh shirt! I don't think it's hit me or whatever, or my head doesn't realize that it's my last match yet. Honestly, I know there's gonna be a lot of people here. I know I have some family here, some colleagues from the past and stuff coming and stopping by, and my focus is I just want the match to be good. I fell in love with helping people in pro wrestling, and then I started training one day a week and type of thing. And when the opportunity came for me to purchase what was then the Caddick Training Center and turn it into what's now known as the New England Pro Wrestling Academy, like I jumped at the opportunity.
Brian's legacy with the New England Pro Wrestling Academy is really continuing the legacies of two really key figures in New England wrestling. That's Walter Kowalski and Steve Bradley.
He's had a great impact on the school. I mean, think of the lineage that he has to uphold.
I was fortunate enough to still be around when Steve Bradley was here. Bradley was a guy that took wrestling very serious. He changed the format of New England. And so now you're getting those teachings from Brian Fury, and it's just seeping into all of his students. All the small footwork, things like that, things that like bigger companies notice, it's all come from Steve, and now it's coming through Brian.
For him now, that's a lot of pressure too, but to be continuing both of those legacies, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job with it.
As far as the teaching pro wrestling thing, I feel like, I don't know, maybe I take a different approach than some other places, which is maybe why I've had a lot of success. I mean, I don't know. I teach the way that I was taught, and I yell and I scream a lot, which some people don't take to or like, but I seem to progress in the wrestling career well because of it.
He's been a tough trainer, but a good trainer. I honestly can say I don't think there's been a better trainer that I've ever been around, or a better mind for wrestling. And I've gone to a lot of seminars. I mean, I've gone to Harley Race, I've gone to Ring of Honor, I've gone to, just a ton of seminars, and I always come away thinking the same thing, like, I knew that stuff because Fury taught it to me.
Brian Fury gave me like a new set of eyes, a definitely different way of looking at pro wrestling.
He's like no nonsense. He's a fun guy, no nonsense, and he'll give you his honest feedback, which is awesome. Because you don't want anyone kind of sugarcoating you and not giving you the right direction. So he gives it as it is, and I appreciate it.
I don't know, since day one, he's the type of guy that he always knows how to get the most out of every person. Mm-hmm. He doesn't mentor and coach everyone the same. Like, he figures out your personality, and he kind of figures out ways to bring out the best in you.
He could see the smallest, grain of anything in you, whether it's charisma, whether it's your love for wrestling, whether it's athleticism. Brian will see that. I mean, even if you're just a nice guy, if you're nice to him, he'll care about you just like you're his son or you're his little brother or little sister. And Brian treats me the same way that he would treat, his first student, his second student, his last student, his worst student, his best student, and that's the best that you can get from any trainer, in my opinion.
The drive he has to train us gives me the drive to just try a little bit harder every weekend and in the gym as well.
I try to take more of an active role outside of just pro wrestling trainer. I try to, I talk to my kids in the office about school, life, whatever else is going on, because, I've been through it all, and in wrestling and outside of wrestling.
It's definitely evolved over the years. Like, when I first started, it was a lot more rigid and serious, and over the past 2 years he's kind of not laid back a little bit more, but it's been more of a constructive, positive place, and I think that's just going back to that point about how he knows how to get the most out of his students, and he builds like such a clean professional environment for all of his students to learn and become the best workers they can be in.
He comes here every single night, and on weekends, and he gives his all, whatever he has, he gives to these students.
I wouldn't be even close to where I am in wrestling without Brian Fury. I don't even know if I'd still be wrestling if it wasn't for Fury. Like, there's a couple times he's put the confidence in me to keep going. In times where I doubted myself, times where I was like, maybe I should just, stick to something else and kind of give this a rest. But he's a guy who built confidence in me for wrestling. You're in good hands. You're being taken care of. You've just been so big. I honestly don't know if I can put into words like what he's meant to me in my professional wrestling career.
I've been trained by a few people, and out of all of them, I think Brian stuck here the most with me, and here, but most importantly here.
If it was possible for Brian to be better at something than pro wrestling, it's pretty poetic in its own way that he's better at training other people for pro wrestling. And I think that's been Brian's hidden talent. And he's able to use the New England Pro Wrestling Academy to just transform and mold all these visions, all these ideas, all this creativity amongst just so many different people who train there. Now that he's done with in-ring activity and he can just focus on the school, I'm going to be amazed by the students that are produced. He was able to put out so many other talents with half his time dedicated, or maybe a quarter of his time dedicated to it. But now Brian Fury is 100% the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. It's gonna be so good for New England.
He gets you ready for the wrestling business. If we wouldn't train with him, a lot of guys, if we didn't train with him, we wouldn't be able to go out and take this sort of bullshit that happens in the wrestling business, you know. So he really builds us for that. But he's just one of those guys, man, where it's just he's special, you know. A lot of us really care about him. Any of the guys were loyal to him. You know what I mean? Like, he'll live and die with us, and we live and die with him. And he's one of those guys. It's just like it's you know, he's just motivational in his own way. Just look at what he's doing. You know what I mean? We follow in his footsteps, type of thing, and he just motivates all of us.
You know, I see Brian teach here, and one thing that makes him stand out. Well, there's several things that make him stand out. One thing is that he cares. Like, he truly cares about professional wrestling, and he truly cares about what these kids do out on the indies or out wherever they go and wrestle. They're a representation of him, and he cares about each and every person who comes into that ring because he wants them to be the best professional wrestler they can be. And he cares. And he cares about the fundamentals, and he cares about passion. And passion is so lost. It's so lost in professional wrestling sometimes, especially on the indies. And Brian Fury wants to make them have the same passion that he has. And that passion is powerful.
I don't think my students realize how much they mean to me. I don't know, like, it's gonna be even more so now that I won't be in the ring, but like, I live and die with my students. Their successes, I feel like, are my successes. I don't try to take credit for it, but, you know, like, there's a part of me that feels good. Like, I remember just at, you know, Hell in a Cell, and I get to be there and crying when Sasha was coming out to the ring and stuff, because it was a huge moment for women's wrestling and wrestling in general, but it's, you know, knowing her like I know her, it was a huge moment for her, and you know, that type of thing felt really good. Dijak, you know, going to Ring of Honor and doing stuff, Biff now being in NXT, and all my students that just, even on this level, like, I love watching them grow as performers and stuff, and it's one of those things that feels more rewarding than, you know, me going out and wrestling a match at this point in time. Like, I've had a lot of good matches in my time, sure, but seeing them do well is, at this stage of my life, it feels a lot more rewarding than anything else.
With Brian, the proof is in the pudding. Look at the students that he's produced. The students who are now performing in the best companies in the world and all over the world, and even the ones who aren't under contract that are going to Europe and Japan. And
I think it can only get better from here. Just if you look at the people he's trained now, Dijak, Biff, Kofi, Sasha Banks, like, all these people came out of this school. Imagine what the next crop of guys are going to be.
It's just remarkable. You see all the talents come out here. Some of the best people in the industry today, right now, currently speaking. It's crazy to think what he's done in a short period of time, and in a time that he hasn't been able to give it all. He's still been wrestling and still been working hard. And
I think what Brian's doing, he's securing the future, because right now in New England wrestling, it's kind of like a boom period, and all the guys that have come out of here, and what Brian's doing right now is securing the future that's going to continue.
I would truly consider it and him one of, if not the best training facility in the world. So now the fact that he can dedicate all of his time and a full time to it is borderline scary. But I hope people in this area don't look past that and just say, oh, I'm just going to go to the closest school or whatever, because people should be coming from all over the world, because that's the level of training that they're going to get at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy.
I would hold the strangers, baby. It'd be weird. I feel like I'd break it. Hi. Baby. All right, let's go. All right, the hard part of the night's over. Let's get to the easy stuff, the wrestling. Let's go. Everybody out of my way.
I want the match to deliver, and I want it to be a really solid match. I think afterwards, maybe emotions will come floating out. I'm pretty good at hiding a lot of stuff, but at the same time, I am a very emotional person. It's funny, when people get to know me, I'm not the mean, tough guy everybody thinks that I am at first. I'm just excited. I'm looking forward to wrestling a very old friend one last time. And I hope that I am leaving a positive legacy for my in-ring career. And tonight should be, it should be a culmination of everything I've learned and done over the years. So, I put a lot of pressure on myself to have really good matches, but I strive under pressure. I thrive under pressure. So, the match itself is first and foremost, and then everything else I think should fall into place, and we'll go from there.
Welcome back, the Golden Greene. In the corner to my right competes in the final match of his 17-year professional wrestling career. He is also a former Triple Crown winner here in Chaotic Wrestling, hailing from Salem, New Hampshire. Weighing in at 218 pounds, New Hampshire's favorite son, the Firebrand, seconds, your winner by submission, the Firebrand, Brian Fury!
2016 has been an awesome year for me, but I am old. The in-ring part of my career is winding down. I can walk away and be happy and proud. Officially, 2016 will be the last year of Firebrand Brian Fury.
Only love can make it rain. Away at the beach, it's kissed by the sea. Only love can make it rain, like the sweat of lovers laying in the fields. Love, rain on me. The era of the Firebrand has begun.
For the last 17 years, you guys have allowed me to live my dream. Thank you so much.
never would have imagined how this all turned out when I was a little kid wanting to be a wrestler when I first started wrestling, and then even 5 years ago I couldn't imagine that the career that I had and the amount of people that I were able to touch would amount to this. So thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have given me over the past 17 years. No matter what was going on for me in my personal life and away from this, I always had this. And this was always very special for me. It was important for me to go out on my own terms with my head held high and not one of those guys hanging on too long or wrestling and being broken down. I mean, I am broken down, but not as broken down as I would become had I kept doing this for a while. I want to be able to... You still got it! You still got it! You still got it! You'll always have it! Thank you. It's weird for me because, in a way, I've always wanted to be, and I've always been a professional wrestler. So, for a long time, I thought by stopping and quitting and retiring that I would be losing my identity. But thanks to a lot of the people you see standing around this ring, I have a new identity, and that is professional wrestling trainer. I don't think my students realize just how much they mean to me. Trust me, guys, it's way more than I will ever mean to you. You guys, you're an extension of me, and I live and die with every single thing that you guys do in this professional wrestling ring. All your successes and all your failures, I feel every single one of them, trust me. And I love you very much.
We love you!
Just a couple more things before we go. Finally, after a very long time. I love Alex Arion so much. Alex really helped me become 100,000 times better than I ever thought I would be. And it's so awesome to me, and it's kind of a storybook to have my final match against him. Thank you so much, all of you. Jamie and Mark of Chaotic Wrestling for letting this be my home for the past 10 years. This has been probably the most professional and well-run promotion/organization, wrestling company, anywhere, never mind New England. So to be able to call this my home was always very special for me as well. And a final thank you to some childhood friends I have here, some high school friends I have here, and to my mom.
thank you guys for always encouraging me and pushing me to follow my dreams and do what I wanted to do. Some parents tell you, listen, it's a far-fetched thing, it's something you can never do. Go do this, go work in an office or whatever. Thank you guys so much. I love you too, Mom. Thank you to my girlfriend Nikki for putting up with me. Lastly, I just want to say thank you very much to everybody that has ever spent a single dollar on a ticket to come see me, to buy a picture, a t-shirt, a poster this evening. Thank you very much for helping pay my bills at home. I appreciate it. I love you guys very, very much. I love everybody here. Thank you. Goodbye.
Everything I could do during that moment to fight back tears. I'm like, why am I crying? But I just think that, you know, for every disagreement personally that Fury and I have, the guy means everything to me in the world of wrestling. And I think tonight, with this being his last match, it's gonna hit me hard. I know, like, the best part of Fury, as good of a wrestler he is, I think the best part of Fury for the next however many years that he's involved in the business, like I said, he's the best trainer that there is. And I think he's gonna leave his mark on everybody who learns through him. So I think the best things are yet to come, but to see the door close on this part of his career and being able to experience that and be a part of it and be on shows with him, like, I'm gonna miss that, because he's truly something special when he's in the ring. And I'm glad he's walking away under his terms when he wants. But I think that not only me, but everyone who comes after me is going to miss out on seeing some of the best wrestling that, you know, I've ever seen in my entire life.
And to me, it's sad because Brian's one of the best I've ever been in the ring with, ever. And I've wrestled a lot of people. And I've been around, we're all around the world at this point. And you can see it through his students too, how good his students get, how good they get so quickly. It's because it's an extension of him. And it was sad when I found out that, you know, it was going to be it for him. But he's got a grand plan, and this school is his grand plan. And now that him going to shows and wrestling himself, that's not holding him back, then there is nothing that's going to stop this school from just exploding into something miraculous and amazing. It's crazy to think that 1, 2, 3, 5 years from now, where this place is going to be, and the people who we're going to see on TV each and every week that have come through these doors.
A man is tested by his ability to survive, adapt, and conquer. Professional wrestling is like nothing we've ever seen before, and it's only fitting that professional wrestling could spawn the firebrand, Brian Fury. A man so dedicated to being the absolute best. A man so dedicated of changing the perception of professional wrestling inside and outside of New England. Truthfully, nobody has ever motivated me the way Brian Fury has. He is, and forever will be, the king in the Northeast.
Well, that's all I had for questions. Is there anything you can think of that you didn't say that you might want to say in this documentary? You know, make sure that something that makes it in there.
I don't know if there's anything else. I mean,
Yeah, I try to cover every aspect of it, but I just wanted to ask just in case.
Good.
Cool.
I just love wrestling.
There we go. That's the ending right there for it. Cool, man.